as a brief communication, which I told Ali would even be in my office, but it turns out it became a press conference, which could not sit on the other end. The genesis of it is that some of you have been reaching out and asking for a comment on some of the happenings at Parliament. So I said, okay, let's see how we get to do it. But it was thought that we do it generally and not just for a few media houses. Okay, so firstly, we have seen the arrest of some members of Parliament regarding ongoing investigations as far as Parliament is concerned, its modus operandi, and so on and so forth. Whenever somebody suspected to having gotten involved in corruption is arrested, ideally it's a good thing. However, some of us are not too excited yet. We don't want to get very excited very quickly because we have seen how things have always happened in the past. That a few people get arrested and the situation dies there, to give the public a semblance of we are doing something about it, to pretty much hoodwink the public. So we don't want to get excited yet. It's a good thing. Some people have been arrested, and our hope is that there will be a lot more investigations, but we hope that this does not become like the Mavati saga, where a few people were arrested, arraigned in courts of law, but many other powerful people were not touched. That ceases to be justice. Our hope is that this investigation will be broadened, because we have a real challenge. And we should not just do window dressing. We have a real challenge at Parliament of Uganda. My hope, as leader of the opposition, is that we get to cast the net wider if we want to clean up Parliament. And as far as I'm concerned, the cleanup of Parliament should begin with the Parliamentary Commission, as far as I'm concerned. That's where problems start from. I have, for example, written to the Speaker of Parliament this morning, and I'm asking the Speaker of Parliament, when does the Commission meet? I became Leader of Opposition in January of this year. According to Section 2 of the Administration of Parliament Act, according to our rules of procedure, the Leader of the Opposition is a member of the Commission. Now, I have learned that there are some quiet meetings of the Commission that have been happening in the Speaker's office, usually with the backbench commissioners. Now, how does that become a meeting of the Commission? Because as leader of the opposition, I am maybe what you would call a front bench commissioner. That's why we have backbench commissioners. But I've never been invited for a meeting of the Parliamentary Commission. And yet I understand there are some clandestine meetings that keep happening because people are recruited. That can only be approved by the Parliamentary Commission. When you read Section 6F of the Administration of Parliament Act as amended, the Parliamentary Commission is supposed to consider revenue and estimates of Parliament and then approve the budget of Parliament before it goes through the other processes, the committee, and then plenary. So in the letter I've written to the Speaker, I'm asking, did the Commission meet to approve the Parliament budget of 2024-2025? If so, why is it that as the leader of the opposition, I was never invited? Is there something that the Commission is hiding from some of its members like myself? Are they keeping me out of the Parliamentary Commission meetings because I ask too many questions? And yes, I will ask those questions because that's my duty. My duty is to keep the government in check. I'm a full member of the Commission, and it's important that I get to know some of the happenings. Members come to me as LOP and they have complaints. Committees are not properly facilitated. They cannot, some of them need to go to different districts to carry out their work. But each time they request for that, they are told there is no money. How can there be no money for committees to do their work, but there's billions of shillings available to the Speaker for social responsibility? How does that make sense? There's plenty of money available for people to be given service awards. All of these are discussions that are meant to happen in the Parliamentary Commission. Unfortunately, some of us are kept and locked out of the Parliamentary Commission, which is illegal because I am a member of the Commission. And so I want to know, and that's why I've written to the Speaker, I want to know, did she or anybody else amend the Constitution, amend the Administration of Parliament Act and our rules of procedure to say now the law is no longer a member of the Commission, because the law is very clear? Are they bothered by the questions that I'm asking, and so they don't want me to ask those questions in the Commission meetings? So that's the challenge, and that's why I'm saying, as some members of Parliament are being arrested, we need to broaden the investigation of Parliament of Uganda, beginning with the Parliamentary Commission, because that's where lots of things are happening surreptitiously and clandestinely. You see, if Parliament is to function effectively, it has got to be accountable, one, to members of the Parliamentary Commission, because that's the top organ of this institution. Number two, it's got to be accountable to all members of Parliament. That's why they're raising questions. But finally, it has got to be accountable to the general public. It's important that that gets to happen. So the tendency for the Parliamentary Commission to operate clandestinely without involvement of members of the Commission raises a lot of suspicion. And this has got to be addressed. You know, the Speaker of Parliament always says that we are a people-centered Parliament. My hope is that this does not just be a slogan, because it seems like a slogan. It has got to be reflected in how we operate and how accountable we are as an institution. So I thought that it's important for this to be out there, because we're a public entity and we must operate publicly. We are public officials. As leader of the opposition, I'm not just accountable to my party NUP that nominated me for this position. I'm not just accountable to the opposition, which I lead in Parliament. I'm accountable to the entire Parliament. I'm accountable to the entire country called Uganda. And that's why I'm asking questions about how taxpayers' money is being utilized or misutilized. So we, at least in my case, I am not going to keep quiet whenever I see things going wrong. I'm not going to keep quiet when the Commission is operating like a small clique. Because the Commission is not just these few backbench commissioners that meet, distribute money amongst themselves. They meet to approve recruitments of several people, some of whom we understand are many of their relatives. They meet to award contracts, huge contracts. In some cases where there's even conflict of interest, because some of the companies that are awarded contracts belong to people who sit in some of these small meetings. And maybe that's why they don't invite some of us for these meetings, because we shall ask questions. So I would like to appeal to the leadership of this institution. Let's be transparent. Let's be accountable. Let Parliament work as an institution and not somebody's small kiosk or small property. Because that's why we're having a challenge in this country. That's why there's billions of money, running on different accounts for personal work, and yet committees do not have money to operate. So it is something that I am challenging, it is something that I'm not going to keep quiet about, and I'll not allow anyone to intimidate me, because I'm not here at the invitation of anybody. As voted for by the people of Nakawa West, nobody in this building invited me to be MP. The people of Nakawa did vote for me. And number two, my party nominated me to become leader of the opposition. It was not at the invitation or wanting or liking of anybody here. And so I'll keep speaking out so that we clean ourselves up. All right, let me see Shamim's hand is already up. Can I first translate what I just said and then I can pick one or two questions?